I'm Hugh Jones, and I'm a dairy farmer. We do cropping in Nottoway and Dinwiddie County. As you can see, I'm outstanding in my cornfield right now. We planted about 550 acres of corn this year. The cost per acre is probably going to be somewhere between $300 and $350 an acre to put in the corn crop. So it's a big investment. Right now the crop looks good. We've had plenty of rain, and we need to really have a good crop year. Last year the corn looked good till it got up to the tasseling stage, and then we went 5 weeks with no rain and a lot of 100-degree days in there. So basically the corn was ready in the stage to be pollinated, but when it turned all so hot and dry, the ears basically that tried to develop, they didn't pollinate at all, so it was like a cob in there with none of the kernels pollinated. The effects of the drought last year, we ended up having to chop. We had about 480 acres. We ended up having to chop all of that for silage for our herd, and then we had to buy about 100 acres of corn from a neighbor to chop for silage. That cost us, I think, about $40,000, and if it had been a good year, we'd have had enough silage and enough grain from our crop to feed the herd. As it is, we're going to end up buying about 25,000 bushels of corn this year. That's going to cost us somewhere between $180,000 to $200,000 to buy the crop that we could have had if it had rained. So when we don't get a good year, it's a big loss financially. Unfortunately, right now, in the past 7 years, we've had 5 years that have kind of been drought years. 2011 was a very good year, but we've had more than our fair share of drought years, so we really do need a good crop year this year. The bad thing about a drought, like I said, it's probably all in all, when you add up everything, last year probably cost us $250,000 compared to if we had gotten the rains and we'd have had a good crop. Even in good years, dairying, we rarely, most years we cover our expenses, but we rarely cover our depreciation. Depreciation being just equipment getting older, both for the dairy herd and the cropping equipment. And when you can't cover your depreciation, basically you keep on running older and older equipment, and you spend more time broke down and a lot more repairs. And with dry years, 5 of the last 7 years, we just haven't been able to cover our depreciation. If we get a good crop year this year, like I said, having been maybe $250,000 behind where we could have been if we had a good crop year last year, it basically takes 2 good years to rebound from a bad year. And like I said, now we're looking at 5 of the last 7 years being bad, so we need to string together some good years for a while now if we're going to stay in the dairy business. I think that's what myself and the kids want to do. You know, if we have another dry year or two, whether or not we can keep on affording to feed the cows, it'll be a decision we'll have to make if we don't get a few good years back to back now.
So of everything that affects you, diesel fuel prices, fertilizer, corn seed, all those outside effects, what affects you the most? What could make or break any kind of farm?
Whether or not the Lord decides to bless us with rain. If we can get an inch thunder shower in June and July, I tell you, an inch is probably worth $40,000 on our crop in June and July. Like I said, we've had plenty of rain so far, but when corn's this tall, you know, it doesn't need a great deal of rain. If anything, we've had a little bit too much rain this spring. We've got some spots in some fields that are drowning. What the crop really needs right now is the bright sun like we've got today, and warm weather will really make it grow. But you get to June, July, especially when the corn starts tasseling, you need a good inch of rain a week at least to really make a good crop.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.